Welcome back, Holotable Heroes, to another Galaxy of Heroes video. It's Friday morning. You know what that means. That's right, it's time to get galactically challenged with your bald-headed boy, Scribble. Let's break it down. We are on our way to Camino for some wonderful time in the sea against the bounty hunters. Boba Fett over there, being a clone himself, feels quite at home here on Camino, but he is supported by Bosk, Cad Bane, IG-88, and Embo, who's not in the lead. Our modifier is basic training. For the global modifier, whenever the character in the leader slot ends their turn, all allies gain a stack of morale, which is exactly what I'm trying to give you right now. It can't be copied, dispelled, nor prevented for each active ally. Whenever a character deals damage to an enemy or recovers health, they gain a stack of morale. Whenever a character is inflicted with a debuff or receives damage, they lose a stack of morale. And whenever a character defeats an enemy, that character gains all the stacks of morale off a defeated enemy. I'm sure you're asking yourself a question. That's all very well and good, Scribble, but what in God's name does morale do? And I don't actually know. Essentially, it gives you stacking, crit damage, defense, max health, potency, and tenacity. Obviously. Alright, we have got benefits for the Rebels. Rebel allies are gaining 50% health steal. That is a lot of health steal, and they cannot be countered, which is nice. Whenever a rebel's health drops below 90%, they get cornered, which means they get loads of additional stats, like extra defense, health steal, and speed, and they call random rebel allies to assist when using an ability on their turn. Excuse my phone, it's very rude. Very, very rude. Let's go ahead and mute that real quick. Sorry about that. Alrighty then, so the enemy has got Thrill of the Hunt, which basically means nothing. They gain 9 stacks of true defense, which means they're very, very tanky at the start, but you throw a couple of attacks into them and then they crumble like paper. Feats then, we need to win a battle with a full team of rebels, no problem. We need to complete the battle after attempting to inflict damage over time 30 times, and we need to complete the battle after attacking out of turn 20 or more times. Now, the team that I'm using here is not CLS Rebels, it's actually Mon Mothma. CLS Rebels will do absolutely fine, but this team theoretically should be able to get all of the feats done. Bistan has a 70% chance on his basic to apply a damage over time, so we just need him to attack roughly, like 50 times, and he should, there or thereabout, hit those 30 damage over time. So you don't need to land them, it's only attempts to imply. So we're using Cara Dune, we're using Captain Rex, Kyle Katarn, and good boy Bistan. It doesn't really matter what you do, you could probably just go in and hit auto over here and then just manually target people as you go along. The only thing I would say is when it gets to Bistan's turn, you do want to try to make sure that you're always stripping away turn meter from Bosk, because you don't want him taunting more than anything else. Taunting is not an ideal thing for us to have happen with Bosk, but look how quickly we tear through IG-88. He barely stands a flipping chance, does he? I'm just looking to remove the tanking abilities of Bosk there by getting rid of his turn meter. We strip through the stacks of true defense so quickly, it's unreal. Look at all those stacks of true defense just disappearing. The enemy will take a couple of turns, but honestly, you take away so much from this team before they even get the ball rolling that it doesn't even really matter. So let's just go ahead and destroy people as we like. Cara Dune is also removing turn meter from the enemy Bosk, so he can't really ever take a turn. If you don't have this particular lineup, it's not going to be an issue. I am going to go through a couple of other teams with you that can get this done and make a very easy damage over time team for you as well that should be relatively accessible. But as you can see, the enemy doesn't really get a chance to do something. Sure, Bosk is taunting now, but honestly, they don't have any allies, so it doesn't even matter. Do you know what I mean? They've lost all of their team apart from Scion of Django, and we all know that Boba Fett Scion of Django, his kit is just not all that in a bag of chips. He is lacking when he doesn't have his Territory War Omicrons, and we're using Rebels anyway, so it's not like he could do too much to us. So yeah, put it on auto, and you'll get 90% of the feats done. You might get the damage over time feat done. There's a little bit of RNG involved in that, but like I said, I have a completely separate team to get the dots that, should be very, very accessible to everybody. Alright, so there we go. We'll see if we get the dots. If not, it'll definitely give you Rebels wins. It'll definitely get you attacks out of turns wins. Do we get the dots? We didn't get the dots. So if you don't happen to have that team and you're just looking for a full team of Rebels, obviously just go ahead and use a standard CLS team. Or, if you've got GL Leia. I'm sure that GL Leia will do absolutely fine in this particular Galactic challenge. I'm just going in with a standard CLS C3PO team here. CLS C3PO, Chewie, Han, Chewpio as well. And yeah, in all honesty, I am just going to put this on auto. I will target Bosk at the start to stop him from taunting, and then I'll just go over here and I'll hit auto, and I'm sure we'll have a fantastic time of things. Boop. Easy money. I'm sure they'll just tear through these people like a hot knife through butter. Brap. Chewpio goes Bert. People melt. This is usually what happens when you use CLS against a Bod Boba lead. They can't really do a whole lot. This should get you the attacks out of turn. You might actually end up killing them too quickly before you get the attacks out of turn. But hey, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, so looking towards damage over time then. Damage over time is actually pretty easy to get done. We're going in with Empire, obviously. Obviously we're going in with Empire. So you want Palpatine because that's going to create turn meter trains for you, and you want Darth Vader because that creates dots for you. If you have Lord Vader will get this done without any issues whatsoever. Every time he takes a turn, he applies 2 damage over times to every enemy, and he's got an AoE that applies 6 damage over times to all enemies as well. He will get it done immediately just by existing. So if you have Lord Vader, use him for damage over times. But if you don't sweat. We're just going to use a core example of Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, Mara Jade, and then more or less anybody that you want. More or less anybody that you want. You could go for Sith if you wanted. We could throw in like Bastard Fallen and Dark Talon. That'll give us a little bit of extra speed boost and a little bit of extra control. All we really need to do is when Vader takes his turn, he needs to use Force Crush as his first ability. That is an AoE. It tries to apply damage over times to everybody, up to 3 damage over times across the entire board. So as there are 5 enemies on this board, that does mean that it's 15 dots. After that, you just need to do that one more time and you've hit your 30 dots. Isn't that wonderful? So we go Force Crush. After that, he'll gain a bonus turn thanks to Palp's lead. We go into Merciless Massacre. We just do a basic and a basic and a basic. And, I mean, you could use the Force Crush here, but if you wait until afterwards, until we've gone through all the Merciless Massacres, you can use Force Crush now and you'll gain another bonus turn. And then you could just yeet and put it on auto and win. Isn't it marvellous to have a wonderfully easy Galactic challenge rolling into the weekend? I know that that's what I like to wake up to on a Friday morning, is a Galactic challenge that we can do blindfolded, upside down, hanging from a tree whilst drinking from a cup, singing the Star-Spangled Banner when we don't even know the lyrics. Wonderful. Come on, Bosk, give it up, buddy. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So that will give you 30 damage over times, won't it, Feats? There we go. Marvellous. Alright then, so a nice, quick and easy one rolling into the weekend for us, everybody. Make sure you hit that like button, you consider subscribing to your boy Scribe, and if you are interested in some mismatched GAC gameplay where the underdog battles up against larger opponents with double the GP, then make sure you check out my new video series, Never Tell Me the Odds, video linked just over here.